In this video, we are going to talk about top 10 strangest creatures washed up ashore. So before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for our future updates. With an estimated 95% of the world's oceans yet to be explored, science may never have a complete catalogue of the various life forms that navigate their depths. Sometimes, these odd creatures come to us instead. Inclement weather, outside forces, or just plain bad luck have led to some strange sea dwellers washing ashore to confuse, and sometimes terrify, onlookers until they can be identified. Most recently the fang-toothed snake eel, or Aplotophis chorleodus, appeared in Texas to cause a stir following Hurricane Harvey. It's almost a given that you'll find seashells, seaweed and the occasional piece of driftwood on a seashore. But you wouldn't expect to see an unexploded bomb, hundreds of plastic eggs or brand new motorbikes littering the sands. Some pretty weird things wash up on beaches around the world, so keep an eye out the next time you're at the coast. Here we go with our list. Number 10, the Montic Monster. In July 2008, a photo of what looked like the demon that possessed Sigourney Weaver in Ghostbusters made the internet rounds. The Montic Monster, so named because it was discovered on a beach in Montic, New York, was a curious-looking carcass that was not immediately identifiable. Was it a pitbull mercilessly defeated in an illicit dogfight? An escaped mutant from a mysterious animal disease research center on nearby Plum Island? A raccoon robbed of its fur in a post-mortem tumble through the sea? A turtle without its shell? But turtles don't have teeth, and dogs don't have dinosaur beaks. All anyone could agree on was that they had never seen anything like the Montic Monster before. The animal wasn't available for autopsy, it was carted away by person or persons unknown, but zoologists asked by media to examine the photo were fairly certain it was a decomposing raccoon that had lost enough hair and skin to reduce its charms considerably. Later, a trio of men from nearby Shelter Island admitted to finding a dead raccoon and giving it a Viking funeral by setting it ablaze on the water. Whether that's true or not, that monster was almost certainly the same as the one partial to rooting through your trash. Number 9, the Madball of Cape Town. Looking much like a Cenobite keychain, this fierce little creature was allegedly plucked from the sands of a Cape Town, South Africa resort area by a tourist. Appearing to have a body comprised mostly of a mouth, the fanged horror was photographed and sent along to the University of Cape Town's Biological Sciences Department. The best guess? It's Corysochismus dentex, or a clipswear, a nibbler that feeds on mussels. The corpse had dried out, disfiguring its already troubling features. Number 8, the demon dolphin of Sackland. Ravaged either by the sea or by some kind of enemy, or both, the rotting corpse of a mystery creature washed up on Sackland, an island in Russia, in 2015. The Sackland Island woolly whale was a large beaked whale or possibly dolphin that washed ashore. The carcass was over 11 feet, 4 feet wide, and was also estimated to weigh 1/4 of a ton. It was described as having a beak, covered in white fur, which was actually tissue and fibers, and bones protruding along its sides. Judging from the remains, the creature was giant and about twice the length of a human, and it had a huge nose like a bird's beak. Its elongated beak led to early suspicions it was a dolphin, but observers were quick to point out that dolphins don't have fur. That could have been some kind of skin deterioration, but eyewitnesses also claimed to have seen what looked like paws on the specimen. The best bet was that it was a bottlenose whale calf. Before a definitive conclusion was reached, the body washed back out to sea. Number 7, puffer fish skeleton. A perfectly preserved puffer fish skeleton was found on the shores of yet again, a Wellington beach in New Zealand. This Kiwi country finds themselves home to quite a lot of beach surprises, adding this fish skeleton to the list. It is rare to find a skeleton in such perfect condition, but this puffer fish skeleton managed to remain quite intact when found on a pebble beach. The researchers also found that by blocking genes that are classic markers of skin appendage development, they could reduce the number of spines and loosen the restriction on where they appear on the fish. Strong tides can easily wash fish and sea creatures onto the beach, leaving them with an unfortunate fate. However, this made for quite an interesting discovery. Did you know that most puffer fish, when eaten, are toxic to predators, and even humans? According to Claricoats, despite this risk, countries such as Korea, China and Japan consider puffer fish a culinary delicacy and only specially trained chefs know how to serve them safely. Number 6, airplanes. Via Iceland Mag. This one may not come as such a shock, but behold, numerous airplanes have been discovered on shore. Many remain unrecognized, while others have been deemed as a product of a crash, emergency water landing, or remnants of warplanes from the past. One aircraft, in particular, the United States Army Air Force fighter, crashed on the Gwynedd coast during World War II and was discovered nearly 60 years later on the shore of a Welsh beach. You never know what might pop up from the past. Number 5. Rubber ducks. Via BBC, the attack of the rubber ducks. A container carrying a massive 28,000 rubber ducks was lost at sea nearly 25 years ago. However, its contents are still washing ashore around the globe today. Believe it or not, a shipping container that spilled over thousands of rubber ducks back in 1992 in the Pacific Ocean are still being found on beaches across the nation to this date. The shipment first left Hong Kong, and has since been found on beaches in countless countries from Canada, United States, Ecuador, Colombia, England, and France. If you've come across a rubber duck at any point, it may just be from 25 years ago. Number 4. World War II love letters. This one will just break your heart. Countless beaches across Europe have stumbled upon love letters from soldiers in World War II. Many of the letters were destined for the United States, and other European countries, as a means to reach out to loved ones. Many of the letters, written out to wives and families back home, never made it to their destination. This was most likely the cause of storms at sea, causing post containers to lose many of their letters destined for those overseas. Well, darling, 2 weeks from today and we will be married. Read one passage in a letter from 1943. In another, I don't feel like sleeping, so I thought I'd write you a few lines. Similarly, in New Jersey, a 14-year-old found the 57 letters inside a box walking along a beach in Atlantic Highlands the day after Sandy struck. They were exchanged by a couple from 1942 until the week before they married in 1948. The Vermont native served in the Pacific during the war. Number 3. Cannibal corpse worm with monster jaws. The fossilized jaws of a giant marine worm, or polychaete, called a bobbat worm, were discovered near the town of Moosonee on Hudson Bay in Ontario, Canada, in February 2020. This granddaddy of all marine worms lived some 400 million years ago, making it the world's oldest worm. Based on its massive jaws, it likely stretched more than 3 feet long. Because of the worm's formidable size, researchers named it Websteroprion armstrongi in honor of Cannibal Corpse bassist Alex Webster, a so-called giant of a bass player. Bobbat worms are part of the Unicidae family of polychaetes. Other giant unicids lurk in ocean beds around the world today, where they bury most of their bodies in the sand before shooting out for sneak attacks on unsuspecting prey. Modern unicids can grow to be up to 10 feet long, but other known worms of W. armstrongi's day tended to be significantly smaller. The new species demonstrates a unique case of polychaete gigantism in the Paleozoic era. Number 2. A giant eyeball. Very little news that emerges out of Florida could be considered boring. And when things wash ashore there, it's almost certainly going to capture national attention. In 2012, a perfectly intact, softball-sized eyeball was found on Pompano Beach, just about 10 miles north of Fort Lauderdale. A giant eyeball that washed ashore and was found by a beachcomber in Pompano Beach, FLA, is mystifying wildlife officials, but probably not for long. Marine biologists couldn't immediately identify which species of sea creature would be associated with the eye, but researchers will use genetic testing if necessary to solve the mystery. Some have suggested that the eye came from a monster fish, a giant squid, or even a whale. The eerie, disembodied ocular discovery was forwarded to fish and wildlife researchers, who declared it once belonged to a swordfish. It can be rare to find individual body parts ashore, so why an eye? Because it appeared to be removed with a knife, experts believe a fisherman cut it out and tossed it in the water. Number 1. The Indonesian Kraken. Death and decomposition can radically alter the appearance of a species that might otherwise be easily identifiable. Such was the case with the 49-foot-long creature that popped up above the water at Seram Island in Indonesia in May 2017. The spongy, floating mass was initially mistaken for a giant squid before ocean conservationists pointed out a visible skull, jaw, and spine in some photos, making it far more likely that it was a baleen whale. The Kraken dwells off the coasts of Indonesia and terrorizes nearby sailors. Authors over the years have postulated that the legend may have originated from sightings of giant squids that may grow to 13 to 15 meters, 40 to 50 feet, in length. The Kraken had a knack for harassing ships, and many pseudoscientific reports, including official naval ones, said it would attack vessels with its strong arms. If this strategy failed, the beast would start swimming in circles around the ship, creating a fierce maelstrom to drag the vessel down. Of course, to be worth its salt, a monster needs to have a taste for human flesh. Legends say that the Kraken could devour a ship's entire crew at once. What do you think of our list? Which thing is the strangest creature? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoy this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.